Welcome to Growing Podcast. My name is Arturo.
And I'm Tracy.
And today we're doing something a little different. We are not doing season like we did the first time. We are trying things out. And Tracy, why don't you tell us what we're doing today?
Well, I was just going to throw a topic at you and then see what your thoughts were.
Okay.
Okay.
And we have not talked about this topic before.
No.
Okay.
Well, you don't know what I'm going to ask you or
Right.
say. Okay. So what I would like to say is it's January of 2026. And so what is your thought on couples being able to evaluate how they're doing, how the year was, and kind of set an intention or be ready for a new year and kind of having some freshness? So what are your thoughts about that?
I think it's helpful. I love that kind of stuff anyway, so that's pretty easy for me. I kind of do it individually more. I've been doing it for a while. Kind of like
personally, individually?
personally,
Like yourself?
yeah. I know when I work with couples, I usually ask them in January, and then we check back in December. Yeah, like I do remember, there were about 3 couples early this month that we went back to January last year, and we just kind of see if they accomplished those goals, and yeah.
So, but what are some questions that would be helpful for a couple who would think, how do we evaluate our year? How do we evaluate where we're at?
Well, to me, if you take that question that you just asked me and I put it to the side for a second, and if you just ask what's the goal of couples, the goal is for couples to grow closer together. That's the overarching goal. So anything that would end up with, did we grow closer together? And closer could be many things. Closer could be physically, sexually, emotionally, spiritually. That's what has the highest value, in my opinion. That level of proximity.
So would a fair question be, in this past year, how or in what ways did we grow closer in any of those ways?
Right.
Physically, emotionally, spiritually, sexually, all those things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I would propose it. I will find a question or a set of questions that would indicate that movement, right?
Okay.
From me and my own things to our space.
What is the advantage of keeping that goal present for couples, of having, for you say the goal with couples and couples counseling is to connect.
Right.
So would you say it's helpful for couples to kind of have that be everything of how they filter things, of going, does this draw us closer together, or is this something that helps us get closer?
Yes, I think so. However, that is incomplete, right? Because growing closer to the other person, while it is very important, I also believe growing closer to God is very important, and growing closer to our own intentions is also very important. So that movement is important. You're laughing. You have a face. What's a face?
Now, I'm honestly, as you're talking, I'm thinking through how you do with what you're stating.
Oh, go ahead. Come on.
Well, I think most people give really good advice and sometimes have a hard time taking it,
Oh, I'll say
Or
all people.
walking it out.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes that's what gets difficult, even with you and I, is we can be in a session with a couple and oh my gosh, you're saying stuff that's like fire. I'm like, yeah,
Can't believe you just said fire.
that's great. And then, not gonna lie, every now and then there's a part of me that's like, that'd be great if he did that, or was more consistent in that. It's not like
Yeah.
you never do stuff, but I think that one of the things that I've had to learn about you is you think of all these things, but you don't necessarily readily share them unless I ask you, like, hey, what are you thinking about? Or there are times where you're interested or doing something and then you share a lot. But kind of overall, again, I think there are certain things that for you, like your intentions or things that you're moving towards. I don't think I realize maybe how often it's in your mind because it doesn't always seem like it is.
Yeah, I received that.
Okay, so what do you do after you receive that?
No, I see what you're saying. I think
And then what?
I don't know. What are you asking? I'm confused.
I think sometimes as we're like, you might see something or you might even say something to me and I
Right.
go, that's true. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to change, get better, or all of a sudden, like we put it into practice. So I think when you go received, I think if anything, that's really you just going, yeah, you're right. And that's how it is in a way.
Well, then that takes me to the topic of change and how does change takes place, and that's a whole different conversation.
Is that our next conversation?
it could be our next conversation. Yes.
Because I think change can take place in different ways and
True.
with different like motivations.
Would you want me to change in a specific arena? Would you like to ask me to change in a
Dangerous question.
specific arena? It sounds like you are trying to tell me.
Well, I could ask you the same thing, and I'm sure you'd be like, yeah. I'm sure there's a few things both of us can say and think of that we would like to see. I don't know, change is the right word maybe, but consistency or just something.
And I think that's where the incompleteness comes in. Going back to my point, like if we solely and exclusively focus on the other person, you are correct. We will end up with a laundry list of things that we wish. Please do this more, do this less, do this differently. And that's why I go, that cannot be the sole conversation. That's why I brought our spiritual side. And in my case, you might not see evidence of it, but in my case, I do consider God daily. It's part of my thinking, and it allows me to not obsess on things, people, places, or things.
Okay. So, from the original question of how do we help couples kind of evaluate this past year and navigate into the new year, having a filter of part of that being how do we grow and connect.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm also hearing you add this element of going, it has to either be in the partnership of how we grow or focusing on yourself. Because a danger could be is me seeing how I want you to grow or you seeing how you want me to grow. And then alls we do is kind of see the deficits or limitations
Right.
of the other person or the areas that we want growth instead of one staying focused on our own growth, which we all need
Right.
and have.
Right. Yeah. So there's others. There's outward. There's inward, and there is over. So your question was about outwardly couples, and I am including inwardly and over. We also need to start having conversations about how we're connecting with a bigger story, and personally as well. Because if we don't take these two other points of connections, we could obsess over this one, and I think that's dangerous.
Okay. So again, I want to bring it back of saying, because I feel like this could be a broader conversation, and it's going, one of the ways that it could be helpful for couples to evaluate their year and then think about the new year,
Right.
but to do that with intention and awareness so that it doesn't get out of hand or become legalistic, but it can be a helpful thing for them personally, for their relationship, and overall.
Yeah.
Yes?
Okay.
Okay. What would you say is an intention for us this year?
Well, we haven't had that conversation, honesty.
This is true. We have not had this conversation.
I don't know. You made a comment at the beginning of the year when we started decluttering. We're just taking stuff out of the house. So maybe declutter, something along those lines. Simplification, minimalism, decluttering. They all go in the same vein.
Okay.
That will be my vote.
All right. So
What do you
we
think?
have this recorded that you are going to help declutter the house.
Yes, we have this recorded.
Okay. All right. I think that this year, I definitely like the decluttering. And I think that we are learning how to lean in and take care of each other better. I know that for me, perimenopause has been an unfun thing, to say the least. And I think that it has brought in for you this kind of another gear of you having to be gracious, patient, and help be aware and take care of me
It's an
during
opportunity.
something. So I'll give you lots of opportunities, honey. As many opportunities as you want to.
It's an opportunity.
Yeah. It's about damn time.
I think we're getting close to our 10-minute mark. So
Okay, all right. So I'll be quiet.
no. I'm just saying.
All right. Well, yeah, maybe we had a very big year last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to get lost in the events and the busyness of this year. So I would like for us to maybe think about the intentionality of how we can simplify even our relationship.
Yeah, that
Okay.
works. Yeah. Well, this was our first tryout of 2026. How are we calling this? It's not structured. It's not a part of a...
I don't think we need to call it anything.
Okay.
It was a podcast.
Okay, great. So
Yeah.
this is Tracy's style.
Mr. Methodology here. Yeah.
Thank you for watching. My name is Arturo,
And I'm Tracy.
and I'll see you in the next one.
All right. Bye. That was it?
Yeah, let me just close this.